What haunts your character? Is there something that has happened to them, or have they done something that's affected their beliefs, their behaviors, values, and motives? The character wound has also been called the character ghost, and for good reason. It's a thing, some sort of action or event that follows your character, having a pervasive influence over their actions and the course of their arc. Guilt, grievance, grief, and gravity. The four categories that make up your character's ghost and wound. And today we're going to explore how grievance can not just make for a powerful motivator, but also how it can develop your character's backstory and future actions.
I want to ask you this. Have you returned to the fold? Just visiting.
Largely, this will be the most front and center wound that can often look like jet fuel, propelling your character forward towards their wants and their desires. Often we see this manifest itself as a revenge tale, acting as a strong motivation for our character. Justice is a common theme here too. Same with settling debts, getting even, and even reclaiming what was once your character's. Grievances is an emotion most everyone can resonate with. And the different stories that we can observe are seemingly endless. Classics spoke about revenge and grievances, and so do many modern stories and plots. But the example that I think fits best for us to explore today is John Wick.
It's John Wick.
John Wick is a notable example of a revenge tale. However, there is a bit of a twist. Instead of seeking the revenge of a loved one, he is rather chasing the closure or the robbed closure of the death of a loved one. This is personified in the death of John Wick's puppy that was gifted to him by his deceased wife. The villains who tried to steal his car and ended up killing his puppy in the process fell right into the crosshairs of John Wick's grievances. Naturally, when it comes to plots that follow a revenge arc or some sort of grievance-fueled motivation, the audience is usually following along and rooting for that main protagonist. That is most definitely the case for John Wick. But the first thing that we really need to consider when it comes to grievance being the motivator or a part of our character ghost is, what is the catalyst for action or for this emotion? The audience needs to be given some sort of understanding to the lengths this character might go to enact justice or whatever they are pursuing in their grievances. And with that understanding comes that catalytic moment for revenge. And John Wick gets right to the point here. This can be something that happens on the page or on screen, but regardless if it does or does not, it needs to truly loom over this character. Whatever it is, that catalyst is often the most important part of this story. Would John Wick have ever been John Wick if his puppy hadn't been killed? Likely not. And again, the interesting thing about John Wick and this revenge tale is that it's not necessarily the loss of another person, but the value associated with that animal. The loss of that closure on a literary level, but also as a motive, is perhaps a more profound and effective way to enact this character wound.
Until that dog arrived on my doorstep. A final gift from my wife. In that moment, I received some semblance of hope. An opportunity to grieve unalone. And your son took that from me.
To make an impactful character wound centered around grievance, we need to have this affect everything that they do in their life. They cannot move on, and nearly every decision is impacted or influenced by it. Grievance becomes the number one motive for a character's actions and decisions. And of all the character wounds and ghosts that we can use and explore, this is perhaps the most straightforward. The pursuit of justice or retribution in response to a grievance is exactly what it sounds like, and becomes a deeply emotional experience for the character. In John Wick's case, his need for revenge is intensified by his deep emotional connection to that catalytic moment. being robbed of an experience, and the invasive nature of having the last threads of a loved one taken from you is both powerful and heartbreaking. And so this relentless pursuit has no other option but to go on for this character. Violence seems to be the only answer, as with many revenge tales. And revenge illustrates the want, but what the character wants is not always what they need. The character ghost manifests itself in the form of a grievance, often comes with another message, a deeper one that provides commentary on revenge itself. Is this relentless pursuit worth it? Does it make things right? Does it bring back what you loved? Or make us feel any better? That, of course, will be for you and your characters to find out. And although many of the character ghosts and wounds are not necessarily the truth in finding what will fix our character's condition, many of these will play off of being what the character wants, but not what they need. Grievance is perhaps the one that we see explored the most in this regard. In many other forms, we see these cycles of revenge play out and explore the emptiness of justice. John Wick has a bit of a cynical view on these cycles of violence portrayed, and John Wick again isn't alone in this. We see similar themes and ideas played out in other works, such as The Last of Us Part 2, Pig, The Dresden Files, Battleground, and all throughout Star Wars and A Song of Ice and Fire. Grievance is a powerful tool in terms of writing and storytelling. It is a device that can be used to deconstruct what a character believes that they think they need and what a character actually needs. This is also a tool that isn't necessarily exclusive to primary characters and protagonists, but can also be used for side characters and antagonists. But grievance isn't the only thing our character can feel when exploring the character ghost and wound. Interested in learning about the next one on our list? Do so by clicking here.